moving into extraordinary consciousness is really walking down another street. This book that I told you I've been reading about changing the future through time had a quote by René Descartes in it, and this is what it said. This was the display quote for the book. Like, this is what this thing is about. In order to reach the truth, it is necessary at some point in one's life. Now, really hear this. René Descartes was a philosopher, 18th century. I mean, this goes back, all right? In order to reach the truth, it is necessary at some point in one's life to rid oneself of all the opinions one has received and to rebuild one's entire system of knowledge from the very foundation. You have to be willing to just let it all go. So that if you want to change, if you want to do that, if that appeals to you, it really means changing your concept of yourself. And you have to ask yourself the question, what is my concept of myself? Your concept of yourself is everything that you believe to be true about you and about what's possible for you and about what's not possible for you. All of this stuff that you have had handed to you by your culture, by your parents, by their parents, by your school system, by your religious training, by your own experiences. All of this stuff that you have come to believe is absolutely a true thing, you have to be willing to shed it all and start with a whole new foundation which says, with God, all things are possible. And that leaves nothing out. What does all things are possible leave out? Absolutely nothing. So that if all things are possible, you have to start listening to what I call your higher self. Your higher self. I studied for the last year a book of teachings. There's about 12 volumes of them. It's called Know Thyself. And this is what it looks like. It's out of print. It's from a teacher in Bulgaria whose name is Omram Mikhail Ivanov. And he teaches initiatic sciences, what they call the White Brotherhood, which is not white skin, all right? It's white light, all right? And one of the things it says in here, because this whole thing, all this initiatic science stuff, it's all about the higher self. And the higher self is the self that goes beyond the ego. The ego is just the part of you that has come to believe that who you are is what you were taught in what is ordinary consciousness. And if you ask yourself the question, who am I, and you believe that you're your body, then you've been in so many bodies since you were born. I mean, you were in a body this big. You were in a toddler body. You were in a 10-year-old body. You were in a 20-year-old. You were in all of those different bodies. And every time when you ask yourself the question, is this who I am? Am I this body? You say, yeah, I was in a 20-year-old body. I just saw a picture of it. They put it on the TV screen when I was doing the PBS show. And I looked at it and I said, I really, when I was in that, thought that was real. Well, that was 51 years ago. Where the hell is it? Where is that body that I thought was so real? It's gone. I can't be that body. Muktananda was asked the question, what is real? He said, that is real, which never changes. So the part of you that is changing isn't real. You're in a body. It's 20 years old. It has all kinds of things that it does. And then you're in a body 30 years old, and you look back and try to find that 20-year-old body, and you find out it doesn't exist at all. Not one cell is left of that body. Not one cell. And the body that you're in now, that you believe is you, if it's changing, it's not real, according to Muktananda's definition. It's not real. How can it be real when tomorrow it'll be something else? Emily Dickinson put it poetically so beautifully. She would pick up a handful of dust and she would say, this quiet dust was gentlemen and ladies and lads and girls, was laughter and ability and sighing and frocks and curls. This passive place, a summer's nimble mansion, where bloom and bees fulfilled their oriental circuit, then ceased like these. Who you are is that which continues to occupy things that keep on changing. And this is one of the awakenings that has come into my life. I mean, we all know this. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're not the body that you're in, since it just keeps on changing, that who you are is infinite. And the higher self, this is how Ivanov describes it. He says, the Creator has planted within every creature a fragment of himself, a spark, a spirit of the same nature as himself. And thanks to this spirit, every creature can become a creator. And this means that instead of always wanting for their needs to be satisfied by some external source, human beings can work inwardly by means of their thoughts, their will, and their spirit to obtain the nourishing, healing elements they need. This is why the teaching I bring you is of the spirit of the Creator and not of matter. So this higher self is something that really intrigues me at this time in my life. And it's the second chapter in the book, Wishes Fulfilled, the Higher Self. And he calls it a spark. It's my intention to help people who read this, as it has been for me, to take this spark, this infinite spark of who you are, that continues to occupy this body that is always changing, so it's not real, and let it become a fragment, which is a little larger than a spark. And having this fragment become like maybe the size of a dime inside of you, and then the size of a quarter, and then the size of a golf ball, and then the size of a baseball, and then the size of a soccer ball, until this inner spark of divinity, of God, that is who you are, that is infinite, becomes the dominant force in your life. This spark, it's so significant, so important to recognize that it's really your identity. And I call this spark, as so many others do, the soul.